When my uncle told me my father died with nothing, I believed him, until I found the account he forgot to delete. Buried inside were transfers he made in the days after my father passed. All into his own name. He didn't know I had access. And when I exposed everything at the lawyer's office, he realized too late that the inheritance he stole wasn't gone. It was evidence. Before the flowers even wilted, my uncle made an announcement that didn't sit right with me. My father passed suddenly, leaving me with grief heavy enough to crush my breath. While I was still processing the loss, my uncle Mark, his older brother, took control of all financial conversations. He said it was easier for everyone. I trusted him. He was always the family's loudest voice. At the small family gathering after the funeral, he pulled me aside. "Your dad didn't leave anything behind," he said. "No savings, no property, just debt." I stared at him, stunned. My father wasn't rich, but broke. That didn't match the man who saved receipts, balanced budgets, and lectured me on emergency funds. Still, grief makes you pliable. I didn't question it. But something in his expression, too rehearsed, too polished, itched at my mind like a splinter. The first real clue arrived 3 months later, in a plain envelope. A single number, one I recognized instantly, shattered his entire story. The letter came from a brokerage company. First I thought it was junk mail. But the name on the top, my father's, turned my stomach. Inside a notice said, "Your account is inactive. Please verify next of kin." Account? What account? I typed the number into my father's old laptop. And there it was. A brokerage login he never told anyone about. The balance showed 0, completely drained. But the transaction history wasn't erased. I saw transfers. Dozens of them. Same amount. Same destination. All within 2 weeks after his death. And the recipient name. Mark Holden. My uncle. My chest tightened. He lied. Not just once, but thoroughly, confidently, with no hesitation. I needed more proof, and his carelessness provided plenty. He thought he wiped everything. He didn't know I was better at this than he was. My father's laptop was old but reliable, the kind of machine he trusted more than any person. I searched through folders, messages, and backups. At first, everything looked normal, until I found a hidden folder labeled simply M. Inside were PDFs. Old investment statements, property tax receipts, insurance policies. A spreadsheet titled Estate Distribution Plan. The spreadsheet listed me as the sole beneficiary. Everything, savings, stocks, even a small plot of land inherited from my grandmother, was meant for me. But the land was missing from public records. The account listed as primary savings no longer existed. And several documents had a second version, with my uncle's name replacing mine. The modification dates matched the week after my father passed. My breath shook with anger. But nothing prepared me for the property records I found next. The land meant for me had a new owner, and the name hit like a punch. A quick search revealed the land, a quiet acre my father always said was for the future, had been transferred. Not sold. Transferred. To Mark Holden. 8 days after my father's death. No listing. No appraisal. No legal sale. Just an internal transfer using a flawed signature that was supposed to be my father's. Except the signature was shaky. Unnatural. Won't. I printed the deed and compared it to my father's real signature from a birthday card. The difference was like night and day. Forgery. Complete, bold, shameless forgery. The man who delivered the eulogy with tears in his eyes had stolen everything. I needed a witness, and one came forward unexpected. "Edley. Your uncle came the day after he passed," the neighbor said. "And he didn't come to mourn." My father's neighbor, Mr. Hill, was a quiet man in his 70s. When I visited the old house, he saw me and waved me over. He said, "Your uncle was here the morning after the ambulance left. Stayed hours. Boxes in, boxes out." I asked what he meant. He said he was helping with arrangements. but it looked more like he was clearing documents. My heart plummeted. Mr. Hill also remembered something else. He argued on the phone, loud. Something about she'll never know and just sign it. That was enough for me. With documents, witnesses, and transaction logs, I was ready. Now I needed the perfect moment to strike, and it came in the form of a lawyer's invite. My uncle walked into the lawyer's office smiling. He left shaking. I scheduled a meeting with Mr. Linford, the estate lawyer my father occasionally consulted. I told him everything, showed him everything. His eyebrows rose higher with every page. He invited my uncle to the office to finalize loose ends. Mark arrived confident, cheery, full of fake warmth. He didn't know I was there. The lawyer began. Mark, there seem to be inconsistencies in the estate documents you presented. My uncle paused, confused, then annoyed, then defensive. I opened my folder and slid the following across the table. Transfer logs from the brokerage, the forged deed, the spreadsheet naming me as beneficiary, the neighbor's statement. Mark's face drained of color. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Would you like to explain, the lawyer asked calmly, how your signature appears on your brother's asset transfers? He panicked. He lied. He contradicted himself. He blamed stress, timing, even me. But the evidence was airtight. Still, one final piece would destroy him completely. He forgot one thing. My father didn't trust him either. The lawyer handed me something unexpected. A voicemail my father left him weeks before he died. In it, my father said, Mark has been pushing for access to my accounts. Don't let him near anything without my approval. Everything goes to my daughter. Press play. Mark's face crumbled. The lawyer leaned forward. This recording, combined with the documentation, is more than enough to pursue charges. Mark's voice trembled. He begged. He pleaded. He apologized. I felt nothing, not anger, not satisfaction. Just clarity. He stole from a dying brother. He stole from me. He stole our family's trust. And he thought he'd get away with it. The aftermath would change the family. Forever. Justice doesn't always feel triumphant. Sometimes it feels like closure. My uncle faced legal consequences. Restitution, investigations, and a fractured reputation he could never heal. The stolen land reverted to me. The drained accounts were repaid through court order. The family, once blind to his manipulation, finally saw him clearly. Me. I didn't celebrate. I rebuilt. I grieved properly. And I honored my father the way he deserved, not by inheriting his assets, but by defending his truth. I visited his grave weeks later and whispered, I protected what you left me. Favor isn't legacy. Money isn't legacy. Integrity is. And he gave me that in abundance.